Hey guys, I'm back again. In my previous video, I talked about how to repeat animations with adjustment without starting from scratch. If you watched it, you probably got a good grasp on how to reuse animation in various ways. However, I felt like I rushed through the last example on keyframes. If you are familiar with keyframes, you might have picked up on some good insights. For those new to keyframes, it might have seemed a bit fast. So in this quick video, we are going to be focusing specifically on keyframes. Let's dive in. So guys, we are going to begin, and if you see my last video, it's probably going to be the same thing, sort of, kind of, but maybe newer examples or different examples. And if you're new and you want to know one or two things about keyframes, then you are on the right video. Okay, so I'm going to start by creating a new fusion composition. By the way, this step doesn't matter. You could use fusion composition. You could use adjustment clip. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's create new fusion composition. All right, so let's name this keyframes. By the way, that's the only reason why I'm using new fusion composition. So we're going to name this keyframes. All right, so let's create. Okay, and we can drag this down here. All right, so let's increase this. Let's increase the speed. All right, bring them down here. Okay, let's go to Fusion and quickly make an animation, and we are going to try to adjust the animation. All right, so let's bring on a text plus here, and let's attach this here. Let's go to the inspector. Let's put something here. We're gonna put king. Let's increase the size. So we're gonna make a simple animation. All right, so let's go to 30. We are going to go to layout. Okay, we are going to work on the center. So let's animate it here, and we are going to bring the time to 0 or whatever time you want it to be, and take the letter out. Okay, so when we play this, boom. All right, so that's like a simple animation. Oh, right. But this video is about how to manipulate keyframes to make it do what you want it to do. Let's head back to the edit page. Okay, so maybe you want to move this around. Okay, or you want to copy this and move it around here. Okay, so let's say you don't want that animation to happen from 0 to 30. It's simple. Let's say you want the same animation, but you don't want it to start from frame 0 to frame 30. Maybe you want to move from 0, the starting animation, to, let's say, frame 45. Okay, all right, it's simple. You go to the keyframes. By the way, you could also do this on spline, but on spline it's not as easy as doing it with the keyframes. So the first thing that you are going to see is going to look like is basically empty. All right, so the first thing you want to do is to click on the symbol right here to expand all your animation. And if you go to the left hand side of the keyframe and click on this, you could find your keyframes on a different layer. These lines over here indicate keyframes. All right, so this is your starting keyframe and this is your ending keyframe. Okay, so if you want to move it to, like I said, frame 50, was it frame 50? Okay, so you could select both the starting and ending animation, and you could move them both, and you could move the starting frame to frame 50. When it hits frame 50, your animation starts. Okay, so this is the basis of using keyframes, and there you go. So that's number one example of how you could use keyframes. So let's bring it back. Another thing you could do also is you could stretch out your animation as well. Let's say you want the animation to be at 50 instead of 30. You could do the same. So at this point, you could also select just the ending point and stretch it, okay, to whatever you want it to be. So let's say 50. And now the animation is a bit slower and it ends at frame 50. Okay, boom. It's as simple as that. So you could manipulate where it ends and where it starts. Let's drag it back to frame 30. Okay, so another thing you could do also, if you select this entire animation and select this icon right here, time stretch. So this also stretches the time as well. Okay. So let's move this. Okay, so let's move it. It's like a time stretcher. Okay, so you could stretch it on both sides. Okay, you could shrink it and reverse it as well. Okay, so that's what that allows you to do. That's actually important, especially if you have multiple animations. All you have to do is select all the animations and select the time stretcher, and you could stretch the animations and you could shrink it. Let's head back to the edit page, and let's say you have another clip down here and you are trying to match it to be the same size as the clip underneath it. All right, so let's take this out, custom title, or let's move this. So the custom title is the clip underneath it and the king is the clip on top. Okay, so let's say I'm trying to make them the same size. You know what, let's make this even smaller. If you've noticed when I play this, hold on, you know what, let's take this title out because it doesn't actually matter. Let's take this text out. Okay, but let's just say it's something else. I don't want that text to distract what I'm trying to do here. Okay, but if you notice when I play this, the animation isn't complete. Well, that's because you've shortened the clip. This is a perfect example where you might need to adjust the keyframe to fit your animations. Okay, so let's head back to the keyframes. Again, let me select this. And let me deselect this. So as you could see, the length of the clip is shown here on the green sign. But as you could see, the animation extends far beyond the length of the clip. So this is where you could adjust the keyframe. Okay, so you could use the time stretch here to shrink the time. It's as easy as that. So if you want to extend it, it's going to be the same process. You could extend your animation as well. So anytime that you come back here and your display is zoomed in or zoomed out, you could always click on this extend to view the entire animation size and the entire clip. So let's unselect this time stretch. By the way, the time stretch is mostly useful if you have a lot of animation. Otherwise, you could also just select each keyframe and just extend it. Okay, so you could select this keyframe right here as well and just extend it to where you want it. Okay, so it works both ways. Either way, keyframes is the best way to do it. Although you could do it with the spline, but the spline in this instance is not the best way to move your animations around. Keyframes is the fastest way and the most efficient way to do it. Okay, so guys, if you've learned something from this video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you'd wish to learn more, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will catch you on the next video. And guys, I know this is kind of the same thing that I did on my last video, but I just wanted to give a bit more detail, and this is it. Stay tuned. We got more videos coming up. Peace.